What we're going to do first is, I'm going to need you to get out your packets, because you have a little practice sheet for your thesis on page 9. So we're going to work off of that today, and then we're going to move over to the outline. But I have just a quick little PowerPoint. I do have this PowerPoint on Moodle already. And the thing about building your thesis is that it's one of those nebulous things where you have to think of this very nice, distinct way to say everything in like 1 or 2 sentences that describes your whole entire paper. But you can't be too broad, you can't be too new, you can't be too fuzzy or clear. So I just have this quick PowerPoint. We're going to go through it, and I'm going to show you what I did to come up with my thesis, and I'm going to have you guys start practicing here. The thesis is it's not just your topic or just a fact about your topic. Now, not everybody who has written a research paper for me has an argumentative type research paper. Mine is. Because I'm doing school uniforms, and I'm saying that school uniforms are a good thing for schools, I'm finding that I really wished I had written my paper the other way, because I'm finding more research that says that it's bad than I'm finding that says that it's good. But as a good researcher can do, and a good writer can do, I've gathered all this information, and my point, my controlling idea is that school uniforms are good, and we should have them in all the schools so that everybody's doing really well. So that's and I have to be able to prove that. You know, I can't just say it just because I think it. I have to say, well, because of this study, and because of these people did this, and these people looked at this data, and this, went up, and this went down, and it's all factual. Some of you have more expository type work where you're talking about like childhood obesity or teen depression or global warming. Depending on how you write it, if you're writing global warming and you're talking about how global warming is because there's a lot of controversies about it right now. Some people don't believe that it really exists. Some people think it's just part of the Earth's natural progression over time. Some people are saying, no, it's basically how we humans are treating our environment, and we need to do something about it. Even the megastorms and things like that, you could have an argumentative point about it, but some of your points, like teen depression or childhood obesity, it could just be you're giving us information. You could be argumentative about teen or childhood obesity by saying, kids today are eating foods with way too much fat and playing way too many video games, and it's, that all those are causing us all to be fat teens. But it just depends on how you set it up. Okay? You good? Because you guys all kind of, is it because you're on camera? No. Okay. All right.
It's part of it.
Okay, so the other thing is you need to be able to convince us why it's true, and basically your thesis is setting us up for the whole entire point of your paper. Now what I want you to do is write this down on your page 9. Not this one, sorry, because I talked about that already. It's actually this one. When you're thinking about the questions, we talked about the so what questions when you're developing questions for your topic. Now you need to think about these 4 questions when you're writing your thesis. What's the point of my paper? What does my reader want to know? And I'm going to write down these. And what does my textual evidence show? That should help me out. These should be the questions that drive how you're building up your thesis statement. So what's the point of my paper? What does my reader want to know? What's my textual evidence? What does my textual evidence show? I have to contact the person who wrote this. What is my most important thought? And that's how you're going to basically, that's what you're going to keep in mind when you're doing your thesis statement. So here's 2 examples. Oh, did you get ready? Last one was, thank you. What's my most important one? Michael, so here's one about welfare. The first example is not a very good example of a thesis statement. Getting rid of welfare in the United States is a horrible idea. It's way too vague. It doesn't really necessarily set you up to prove or discuss anything. It sounds more just like somebody spouting off. And horrible, how do you quantify horrible? Because horrible can mean different things to different people. But eliminating welfare in the United States would cause severe consequences for the entire nation. That's pretty good. Because you know what the writer's going to convey, and then all their evidence would show how, what the severe consequences are, and how it's going to impact the nation. And it's specifically talking about United States as a whole. Did you have a question?
What was the third one?
The third one?
Yeah.
Somebody have a go. So that's basically how you're gonna construct your thesis statement today. What we're gonna work on is I'm gonna show you how I did mine, and you're gonna have some time in class to kind of formulate yours. When I was at home, what I did, and the reason you put your questions out is you do need to really seriously consider what you're trying to show. So I wrote my 3 questions. That's why I'm having you write yours here. You don't have to write them out exactly. I like to paraphrase just because, how many million times do you ask to write your questions to the end? So go ahead and write down your topic and get your questions down. And you need to think about your controlling idea. My controlling idea is easy because I know that I'm going to say that wearing uniforms is a good idea for schools. And we should be, we should have school uniform policies. And that's a good thing, because of all the different research that I found. So then what I did is, once I got those ideas down, I started writing. And that's the thing, this is a messy process. I got started on some things, I crossed things out. I got a couple ideas started, I didn't finish because I abandoned them for some different things. I wrote, my first attempt was, schools should institute school uniform policies in order to promote positive learning environments. I was like, well, I used school twice in the sentence. I didn't like the word learning environment so much. So then I was like, well, maybe I should talk about school uniform policies are important. And then I kind of got stuck about, well, why? I didn't want to necessarily give a parallel preview saying it promotes positive culture, it cuts down on bullying, and it enhances the school climate. I could, but I was like, I think I can do better than that. Then I went to school uniforms should be mandated across the nation. And I was like, well, I don't necessarily think that was where I was going to go with my thesis. That might be a good final thought to leave my reader with, but I don't think my whole paper was going to drive the bus that way. And then I said, all schools should enforce uniform policies in order to promote positive schools. I kind of like that. I really like my first one and my fourth one. I haven't drafted my final thesis yet. I'm still working on it. I thought I would be inspired today after talking with all of you and talking about thesis all day that I just knew when I go home tonight it's just going to bolt up like and hit me in the head. At least that's what I'm hoping. So that's what I want you to do in 15 minutes. Go ahead on your page 9. Start roughing out what you want to start thinking about for constructing your thesis statement. And then you should be doing this independently for the next few minutes. And then I'm going to have you talk to friends and neighbors. The last thing, though, before you do that, I was going to show you a couple other ones. I wish I would grab them as people leave, because people can come up with great thesis statements all day. Here's one from childhood obesity. This one was actually 2 sentences. A lot of you who are writing a more expository type paper may end up with 2 sentences. Long-term medical conditions and poor self-esteem are only 2 problems that are caused by being overweight as an adolescent. Many factors contribute to the growing childhood obesity epidemic, making it harder to treat. Another one about teen alcoholism. Teen alcoholism is a pressing matter that needs to be rectified. Another one that I have, this was the one that I showed you the note cards for. Despite the growing negativity toward the need for recording engineers, the work done by these individuals continues more about global warming. Global warming is a major issue in the world today that is causing many negative effects, and it must be prevented. So those are some ideas for thesis statements. I'll leave mine up just so that you can kind of see the process, and then I want you for the next few minutes to work on it alone independently, and then I'll have you guys share.